18. The Cost of Discipleship is the title in my book, reading from the New King James Version. And when Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave a command to depart to the other side. Then a certain scribe came and said to him, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes, and birds have the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Then another of his disciples said to him, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." But Jesus said to him, "Follow me, and let the dead bury their own dead." 23. See, we often stop there, but I want to go to 23. Now, he got into a boat. His disciples followed him. Now, he got into a boat, and what happened after that? Disciples followed him. So I was talking with our illustrious pastor, Pastor Pickens, and he was telling me what the topic was that he's been preaching on, which is how to be what? Fulfill your own destiny, or how to be a better you, or better said, how to fulfill the purpose which God has for you. How do you fulfill yourself, your dreams, your desires? I have personally been preaching about faith. All right. So I've been in this long series, about 2 months, talking about faith. And what was interesting was the interception of both faith and being the perfect you, or fulfilling your own destiny. Where do they intercept? I'll suggest to you, you will never fulfill your own destiny if you do not have faith. Faith first, you second. Faith first, you second. Because what does it mean to fulfill our destiny? What does it mean to be the best you? What does it mean to fulfill the purpose which God has for you? It means that we have faith enough in God to reach out our hands and touch and hold on to that which God has for us. It means we must have faith. So now, what does faith mean? What does it mean? If I'm saying you must first have faith, we must then define faith before we can define anything else. Faith is a belief, not just in Christianity, but in anything. Faith is a belief in something that is contrary to what? Our own minds. Faith is contrary to logic. Faith is contrary to belief in something that we can see and touch, something that's tangible. Faith is something that goes beyond that which is tangible. Because you don't need to have faith in something that you can see and touch, because it's already there. You don't need to have faith to believe that this is present. You can touch it. You can feel it. You need to have faith to believe that this building was here before the builders built it. What do I mean? I mean some groups of people before this building was built saw it in their minds and in their hearts. And they said, this plot of land will be a church to magnify God. But they didn't see it because it wasn't here. They couldn't touch it. It didn't exist. But where did it exist? In their hearts. They had faith. And then they what? acted on that faith. It is the action on the faith which fulfills the purpose. But the faith comes what? You say, I believe in God. No man has come face to face with God and what? Lived. No man. Now we have instances in the Bible where people have come face to face with the Son of God. But God the Father, no. Even now, over 2,000 years. How many of us can raise our hand and say we have touched, we have felt, we have seen Jesus for ourselves? None. None. You can only have what? Faith. That's why when Thomas said, I won't believe until I touch it, we look down on this man and say, this man here, he's low because he didn't have what? Faith. But come on, wait a minute before we start downing Thomas. How many of us would believe if we buried our mother on Tuesday that he came back on Wednesday? Well, if I told you he came back, you'll go, wait a minute. I don't believe that because no one has ever seen someone die and come back. So Jesus allowed him to put his hands. And he said, you believe because what? You have seen. But blessed are those that what? Believe, yet have not seen. Yeah. For the time that we see Jesus is the time when he's coming back, what? Again, to what? Judge. So now all we have over 2,000 years later is what? Faith. Faith defies logic. If someone says, I don't believe Jesus because I haven't seen it, I say, I understand, because you are dealing with what? Logic. And you cannot deal with logic and faith because they are contradictory. Just like the people that built this building. I'm sure that there were haters. I'm sure that there were doubters. I'm sure that there are people that said, there's not ever been a church like this here. Why would you build a church? There's so many other churches around. Let's go to that church. But the people that built this building said, I have a vision and God put it in my heart. And now 94 years later, many blessings later. But it started with what? Faith. Because faith is believing something that you have not seen yet, that you have not touched yet. Once you have the faith, then God can put into action your faith. God can't put into action something that you don't have yet. Now let's go to the text because I'm ready. The man says, I want to follow you. But first, let me deal with this dead man. Seems like a reasonable request. It seems like a reasonable request because here we go. I want you to look at the context behind it. In 23, right after Jesus says what he says, what happens? Everybody what? Gets on a boat. You missed it. Let me say it again. I don't know. I didn't get the response I was looking for. The man says, I want to follow you. But then Jesus says that the dead bury the dead. Right after that, Jesus and all the disciples get on a boat. So what he's saying is, I want to do all that God has asked me to do, but I want to tie up all these loose ends first. After I can tie up all these loose ends, then I'm ready to get on the boat. Because the boat It's not like a car I'm driving. He's not the captain of the boat, is he? Who's the captain of the boat? So he don't know when he's going to return home again. He may never return home again. He may never see his father again. This may be the last time he gets to pay his respects to his family. So he's saying, let me tie up all these loose ends first before I get on that boat, where I lose being the captain of my own ship, and I let you be the captain of my ship. And we sail wherever God asks me to sail, which means it may take me miles away from my home. So let me first tie up all these loose ends. Jesus rejects that. It's not a rejection of him burying his dead father. It's a rejection of not following Jesus in return for doing all this other stuff. He is rejecting the concept that you must be perfect in order to follow Jesus. That you must have all your loose ends tied up before you can do what God asks you to do. He is rejecting the very concept that you can only follow Jesus when Jesus is ready. Nah. When you are ready, nah. You follow Jesus when? Now. Let me follow Jesus. I'll follow you wherever we go, as long as I have a house. As long as I have stability. I'll follow you wherever we go, as long as you would give me. And what does Jesus say? No. The Son of Man has what? Nowhere to lay his head. He's telling him, once you follow Jesus, you depart from what? All of this stuff that you were holding on to. You depart from it. And you get on a boat and you sail to nowhere. You know. And you do whatever God asks you to do, but you don't know. And you depart from all of the family that you thought you had, because you don't know where you're going to go next. That's faith. You want to be all that you can be. Fulfill your destiny. First, you must get on the boat. You can't fulfill your destiny on the shore looking at the boat. You can't fulfill your destiny while trying to tie up all these loose ends first. They'll never be tied up. They'll never be together. You'll always be trying to tie up and put them together. That means you'll never have an opportunity to do that which God asks you to do. Let the dead bury the dead has many different levels. I'm not talking about those now. I'm only talking about how to fulfill your what? The destiny which God has laid down for you from the beginning of time. God is waiting for you. He already has it. He's waiting for you to stop being the captain of your own ship and sailing it. And he's waiting for you to give up that, get on the boat, and sail to unknown lands and waters. Will there be pain there? Will there be suffering there? Will there be unknowing there? Of course. But I would suggest to you, there will be untold joys there too. Because those disciples that were on the boat saw God do what? A miracle. And those disciples that were on the shore trying to tie up loose ends missed the miracle. I suggest to you that faith and you and what you want to do go hand in hand. But faith comes first. If you don't believe it, I don't believe it. If you don't believe it, you can't build it. If you don't believe it, you can't make it. If you don't believe it, no one's going to walk with you. If you don't believe it, no one's going to be with you. You must see it first. And believe that God, if He's given you the vision, if God has given you the vision, He will fulfill no matter how much pain and suffering you must feel. And in the meantime, at the end of the journey, you will see the miracles. Thank you.